So I should probably give some context about this trip. I took this thing from here in southwest Michigan, and my goal was to get as far west as I could. And so I had about 10 days off of work, and I figured I would just get as far west as I could, see as much of the country as I could, and try to make it back in time for my workday the following Monday. So the route for this trip, essentially I was going to be going from Michigan through Illinois, through Iowa, through Nebraska, to Colorado, to Utah, to Nevada, and I was hoping to maybe continue west to the Pacific Ocean, go through California, if time allowed, and then I was coming back through Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and of course back up to Michigan. Yeah, I wanted to stop by some national parks, do a bunch of hiking, see some of the cities out west, to really get a feel for that part of the country because I'd never been out there before. Currently in the state of Iowa, as you can see out there, it is farms and farmland, but we put in 420 miles today on the dot as of right now. Not bad mileage considering it was a half day. And then I have a work day tomorrow, so I have to get on my computer, work my 9 to 5, and then from there I'm going to be heading out to Colorado hopefully by tomorrow evening. And I should be right on the edge of the mountains tomorrow night. So I'm pretty excited to be away from all this corn. But for tonight, we got like 20 minutes till the sun sets. So hopefully gonna find a nice little camp spot and string up the hammock till it gets dark and then hopefully sleep well. Good morning. This is where I ended up. Nice little trailhead. Had it all to myself. We got a wonderful sunrise. So I'm going to head into Des Moines and get some work done. And then we'll be heading into Nebraska. And then to Colorado, hopefully before it's dark. Made some quick parking lot eggs in a parking lot. Good meal to start the day. So I made it through all of Iowa and we are into Nebraska, which is flat as far as the eye can see in every single direction, including behind me. So I can't wait to be past this. Been driving all day. We're officially in Colorado. We're in the eastern part still, so it's interesting the trees disappeared. We're kind of into prairie lands, I guess. A lot of it's still farms, but definitely a change from what I'm used to and what I've seen. So it's cool, experiencing new things. Oh, I scared him. Sorry guys. Well, I made it to the trailhead. There's a cow. No stock. That's you, buddy. I got here just as the sun's setting. There we go. And there's the Pawnee Buttes. And those are all cows that have free reign of all of this. So I might get woken up by a cow. I'm going to take a quick walk up towards the buttes and see if there's any shots to be had with a little bit of sunlight we got left. I think this is going to be more early morning thing. Got a nice sunrise going. Already got some photos. So I made it up into the mountains of Colorado, as you can see. I didn't realize that Rocky Mountain National Park required entry permits that they only give out a certain number of, which I obviously don't have, so I guess I'm just going to check out the cities today. Obviously not ideal, but I'm glad I made the drive up here anyway. Kinda lets me see what's up here. Since I was unable to get into Rocky Mountain National Park, I decided to just do a hike right outside the park so I could still get a feel for the nature on this northern part of the eastern front of the Rockies. After this, I decided to explore the cities of Fort Collins, Denver, and Colorado Springs, and I ended up setting up my camp for the night in the mountains outside Colorado Springs. Currently at 8,800 feet in a state forest. Decided to have a little fire since they're allowed here. I've got my tent set up over there. I do have some neighbors and they're a little bit noisy, but hopefully they'll calm down fairly soon. I'm gonna let this burn down, enjoy the warmth, because it's cold up here. I'm gonna crawl in the tent and sleep. I actually might do that pretty soon, once I can get this burned down enough that I'm comfortable leaving it. The following morning, I visited Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs, where I was met with this friendly deer. I would highly recommend this spot if you're traveling through and looking for things to do. It's super cool. From here, I proceeded west across the state of Colorado. Man, Colorado is so beautiful. Like, this is just a random flatland up in the Rockies, and it's all farmland. Which honestly, if I was a farmer, I'd be farming here, because this is prime. Like, you have all this space, it's flat, you can see, and you got a sick background. And up behind me too, just came out of the mountains. Yeah, loving Colorado so far, loving it. Alright, so I realized that I haven't really updated much, but I'm here, cleaning out, organizing, whatever, the bed space, because I found a real nice place to sleep. Might be able to tell from that background there. In theory, when I wake up in the morning, I should have a great view, unless it's still cloudy. Then maybe not, but I'm really hoping that that one clear spot goes through the whole sky. Anyway, I'm gonna settle in, relax. I did my thing, cleaned the car, organized. Because y'all saw what happened last time when I didn't organize. So, figure this'll work. Well, my plans were a little bit foiled. Sun's supposed to rise right that way. And then, straight behind me, there's actually a mountain. Right there, up in those clouds. And I was thinking, oh, sunrise, I'll get that nice golden color on the mountain. But I don't know, I'm gonna hold out a little bit longer, because we got a little bit of clearing on the horizon, but I'm not hopeful. And also, I'm getting blessed with just this gorgeous sunset. We are in the desert, and it's actually pretty cool seeing like these whatever you call them. They're pretty cool, but just gonna drive. I ended up driving well into the night and made my campsite just outside Moab, Utah. In the morning, I made a trip to Arches National Park, as shown here, and did a fair amount of hiking this day. Unfortunately, I also got a flat tire this day, as I'll talk about later in the video. Before leaving Moab, I made sure to get some fresh spring water straight from the source. Well, it has been quite the few days. I went to Arches National Park in Moab, Utah. That was really cool. Then I got a flat tire, and it turned out that the sidewall was where the puncture was, which means it wasn't repairable. And both shops in town were booked up. Couldn't fix my tire that day. So I stayed overnight in Moab. I stayed at a hotel because it was super hot. I was super exhausted. Yeah, when I say super hot, I mean like didn't drop below 80 Fahrenheit until like midnight or 1 in the morning. And it was like that the first night I was there too. And so after all this stuff that happened with the tire, plus I hiked 10 miles in Arches National Park, I just wanted air conditioning. So got a cheap hotel, got a nice shower in, got the air conditioning like I wanted. And then got a new tire put on this morning. Then I drove from Moab up here to Salt Lake City. Went through Salt Lake City. I'm camped up outside Provo, which has actually a really great view. So as long as I don't get bugged too much tonight, I'll be happy. Because I've already had one person drive up into this lot and do a U-turn and leave. So hopefully not a bunch more. That would be inconvenient, but yeah, check out this view though. Keep in mind it is past sunset, and the sunset was right over that way. So I'm hoping, since the rise will come from back that way, we'll get some nice orange light in the morning on these peaks. This actually worked out exactly as I planned, and after watching the sunrise from my campsite, I set out on a hike. Going up there. Look how pretty this is. Like, man. It's so gorgeous out here. Look at all these wildflowers. Like, I'm just in a field of wildflowers here, which is super cool. One thing that's hard to get on video is the smell. The air smells incredible out here. I would get candles scented like this if I could, because it's amazing. So I just got past that false summit, only to find that that's the real summit. So it's probably another 500 feet of gain in half a mile, 3/4 mile. It's freaking steep. Rather than have you listen to me breathe super hard, I'm going to talk about the hike instead. So this was 9.3 miles, just under 3,600 feet of elevation gain, leading to a peak of just over 11,000 feet. Given that I still was not acclimated to the elevation, this was one of the more difficult hikes that I've done in my life. So this is the summit. Pretty cool. If I zoom in, way out there, It's the Salt Lake. So down in that valley is Salt Lake City, Provo. Provo is probably that close city right there. And then Salt Lake, I actually don't see the city. It's a little hazy. At this point, I hadn't recorded in about a day. I had already visited Las Vegas and had begun my return going through Arizona. Here, I'm looking at some rock art in a canyon. And so I'm trying to get as far east as I can before setting up camp tonight. Probably going to end up somewhere around Albuquerque. And then tomorrow is a long drive. I think I'm going to do like 12 or 13 hours. And get to Missouri. And then I think then the following day I'm driving home. It's been an awesome trip. The rest of this is mostly just driving. There's not that much I want to see out here. I was thinking of driving Route 66 home, which is what I would really love to do, but I just don't have time. I have to be back to work Monday. It's Friday today, so I have tomorrow and the day after to get home, and driving an average of 10 hours a day is going to get me home. Starting to get tired of traveling. I'm 3,500 miles in, what did I say, 8 days? So it's been a lot of driving. So a quick update. I'm actually in Texas now. Really hasn't been much happening. I think I mentioned I'm really just headed home trying to get back before I have to go back to work. So just trying to eat up the miles, especially today. This interstate I'm on, I-40, kind of runs parallel to Route 66. So I've stopped off once or twice to take some pictures and get off the highway for a little bit. I'm about 45 miles from Amarillo. I'm gonna stop off there, get some food, see some of the stuff around town. In terms of nature out here, which is my main thing, it's flat, very flat, so kinda just driving. For the remainder of the trip, I more or less just drove straight home. I made a couple of stops off the highway onto historic Route 66. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to drive the whole thing because I just didn't have time. But I'll leave you with a few of the pictures that I took along the way, and I will catch you next time.